In 2025, everyone knows about voguing, but did you know there's actually 3 styles of Vogue? Old Way, New Way, and Vogue Femme. That's it. Or is it? The full story is a little bit more complicated. The original style of Vogue wasn't called Old Way, which is pretty obvious if you think about it, because when they were doing it, it wasn't the old way, it was the only way. The original style was called Pop, Dip, and Spin, which refers to 3 of the key components of the dance. Then, it evolved into what we now know as New Way and Vogue Femme. For New Way, it was the addition of flexibility and stretch components, like splits or clicks with the shoulder dislocating, that sort of separated it from the style of Pop, Dip, and Spin, and eventually became New Way. For Vogue Femme, it was a little bit more of a 2-part progression. First, there was the category of
Femme Queen Performance,
which referred to trans women performing Pop, Dip, and Spin, or as we know it now, Old Way Vogue. This became sort of a style in and of itself due to the increased sort of femininity and softness as opposed to the butch queens performing at the same time. Then, this style became so popular that butch queens started imitating it in a category known as butch queen voguing like a femme queen, then shortened to BQVF, which became what we now know as Vogue Femme. These styles have shifted over the years, but ultimately, we now have 3 styles as a result of this one original style of Pop, Dip, and Spin. And that's it. The truth is, even this timeline isn't a full descriptor of the evolution of Vogue. The categories that we have today are just the ones that won grand prize, not the only ones that got their 10s. If we watched a video of Vogue from the 80s or 90s, we might be tempted to label it as Old Way or New Way, but the category name on the flyer could have been something descriptive, like Performance Without Stretch, or something more kind of thematic, like Performance Showdown. Or it could be something kind of questionable, like Performance with a Latino Flavor. The flattening of all of these category terms into the schema of the 3 that we use today, of Old Way, New Way, and Vogue Femme, isn't just a matter of survival of the fittest, though. It also serves a real purpose. In 2025, ballroom is increasingly mainstream and international, and there's immense value in having terms that can be translated and understood across languages and across geographic barriers. This helps aid in the proliferation of Vogue and attempt to safeguard its authenticity. At the end of the day, though, Vogue and ballroom are not a historical time capsule. They're a living, evolving web of events and people and communities all across the world that are all inventing their own moves, terms, structures, and more within the confines of the culture that's already been created. The simplicity of the 3 categories of Vogue is a useful tool, but as always, reality is a little bit more complex.